All right, so welcome back.
Yeah.
Today, we're going deep diving into Matthew Perry's memoir,
Like,
Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. Now, we know you guys are busy and don't always have time to read a whole book.
right.
So you asked us to check out a review that connects Perry's book to Friends episodes. I have to say, it's a pretty clever way to unpack it.
Yeah, it is. And it's really fascinating how the reviewer uses the world of Friends to kind of help us understand
Yeah.
the complexities of Perry's real life,
Yeah.
his off-screen life. Like, it's not just drawing these simple parallels between the show and the book.
Yeah.
It's really using those connections to illuminate deeper
Yeah.
truths.
Like in chapter 1, the reviewer compares it to the opening credits of
Oh,
Friends,
Yeah,
when we get that panoramic view of the city.
yeah,
But it's a panoramic view of Perry's life, the highs and lows, the whole...
his whole life. Yeah, and Perry signals right away that there's more to the story than we might realize at first. It's like he's saying, look, my life wasn't just central perk and laughs and lighthearted banter.
Right.
There was a lot going on beneath the surface, and he's ready to kind of share that, I guess.
And then chapter 2, Another Generation Shot to Hell, is like a flashback episode, right?
Okay.
The review digs into Perry's childhood
Oh, interesting.
and how it shaped his personality and his sense of humor.
Like, it's almost like seeing where Chandler's sarcasm comes from,
Yeah.
and his self-deprecating humor. Where did that come from?
Right.
It's like, are they channeling their own pain?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do they, use their insecurities in their performance? I mean, it makes you think, like, how much is really from their own life?
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. It makes you think about those lines between
Yeah,
fiction and reality, and
totally.
chapter 3. Yeah.
Baggage. I mean, this is about all the weight that Perry was carrying,
Yeah.
even while he was making Friends. Addiction, pressure, fame, all of that.
The pressure of fame, it's like, imagine that.
Yeah.
I mean, to have to maintain this persona when you're struggling behind the scenes,
Yeah.
it's a lot. It really highlights the pressure
Yeah.
that actors face,
Yeah.
especially in the public eye.
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder about the cost of fame and how important it is to pay attention to mental health,
Totally.
especially in the entertainment industry.
It's almost like he was, putting on a brave face
Yeah.
for the world while battling these demons, battling his own demons.
Exact.
It's it makes you see his performance on the show in a new light.
Absolutely. Knowing what we know now, it's like impossible to separate.
Yeah.
Chandler's comedic timing, like his witty remarks from the personal struggles that Perry was facing.
Right.
Like,
And then chapter 5.
no fourth wall. Literally about breaking down that wall between his public and his private life.
He's letting us see the real him, like flaws and all. I mean,
Yeah.
this is what makes it so compelling.
Right. And
think-
speaking of compelling, chapter 6, Bruce Willis,
Right.
talks about these unexpected friendships that have such a huge impact on your life.
That's true.
It's like when a guest star shows up on Friends
Right.
and they end up being a turning point for a character.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's like life is full of surprises, right?
Yeah.
And you never know who's going to play a pivotal role
Totally.
in your journey. Sometimes it's
Right.
like the people you least expect.
Yeah. And then you have chapter 7, The Benefit of Friends. This goes into the importance of
The actors, yeah.
those close relationships on screen and off.
Right.
We see how vital they were to each other, on the show.
Yeah.
But this chapter really digs into how those bonds played out in Perry's life.
Yeah. And it acknowledges that even with close friends, he still faced challenges.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't take away the fact that he was still struggling, and it really highlights the fact that addiction and mental health
Yeah.
are really complex
Yeah.
and often require professional help.
Yeah.
Even with a good support system in place.
Right. They can't always be the ones to fix it.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not always enough.
Right.
Sometimes
Right.
you need more. You need professional help.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah.
And it's a tough reminder that fame and fortune don't really protect you from these kinds of struggles.
Right.
They don't. And actually sometimes they make it even harder.
And that leads us to chapter 10, which is the title of the book, The Big Terrible Thing.
Right.
And here's where the review really goes deep into Perry's addiction,
Wow.
The darkest moments.
Yeah, this is where it gets really real.
It's real. It's raw. It's
It's a raw look at what addiction can do, you know.
yeah.
Not just to the person, but to everyone around them.
Right.
It's not pretty, you know.
It's not and
It challenges this whole like romanticized idea of the tortured artist.
right.
You know, it's not like that.
And it's definitely going beyond like the happy world.
Yeah, it goes way beyond the sitcom world.
They're sitcoms.
And it's like holding up a mirror to that. You know, it's like, look,
yeah.
this is the reality that
Yeah.
we don't see.
And then the final chapter, chapter 11,
Okay.
compares Perry to Batman.
Batman.
Interesting. I know, right? Like how do you even how do you connect those two?
So on the surface, they seem like worlds apart, right?
Yeah.
You've got the brooding superhero
Yeah.
and the wisecracking
Yeah.
sitcom character.
Yeah, total opposites.
But the reviewer says that they both share a common burden.
Which is fighting these battles like behind the scenes
Interesting.
while maintaining this public face.
It's like they have this double life.
Yeah.
You know, the one they show to the world
Right.
and then the one that they're dealing with privately.
And it makes you think about the sacrifices that people in the public eye make.
Right.
The stuff they go through
We don't see it.
while they're entertaining us.
Yeah, it makes you it challenges you to think about how we view celebrities.
Right.
Like, what are our expectations? Are they just entertainers?
Right.
Or are they carrying these unseen burdens?
It's a good reminder that even those who seem to have it all,
Yeah.
the fame, fortune,
That doesn't mean
that everything's perfect. Yeah.
they're still vulnerable
Right.
and they can go through really tough times.
Absolutely. And it's incredible that he's sharing his story.
Yeah.
You know, it's so open and honest.
Yeah. And in a way, like, it's not just about him, you know. It's like he's helping others
Yeah.
who might be going through the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, he's like showing that it's okay to ask for help
Right.
and that you can recover.
Right. Recovery is possible.
It's possible.
So, like, what does this all mean for us? You know, like
Yeah.
friends, fans, or just as people?
Yeah.
What can we take away from this deep dive?
You know, I think it encourages us to look beyond the surface, right?
Mm.
Like, remember that
Yeah.
even the most successful people,
Yeah.
the people who seem to have it all,
Right.
can be struggling, you know.
Yeah.
It's a reminder to be kind, you know, to
Yeah.
be compassionate,
Yeah.
to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. You never know what somebody's going through.
Exactly. You never know what's happening behind closed doors.
Right. It's a powerful message about empathy
Yeah.
and
And
understanding.
vulnerability too. you
Yeah.
know, like by sharing his story. He's helping himself heal, but he's also giving others permission
Right.
to be open about their struggles.
It's like he's creating a space.
Yeah, a space for dialogue, for understanding,
Yeah.
you know, and reminding us that we're not alone.
And by tying it back to friends, it's
It makes it relatable.
Yeah.
You know, it brings it to a wider audience.
it's like he's using friends as this lens.
Yeah, like a familiar world.
Yeah.
To help us understand these bigger issues
Yeah.
like, you know, addiction, recovery.
Yeah.
It's all part of the human experience.
And it makes you wonder, like, how much did Perry's own life
Oh, yeah.
influence the character?
You know, was it art imitating life?
Yeah.
Or life imitating art? I mean,
That is the question.
just a big question.
It's a big question.
And it makes you appreciate this show in a whole new way.
right.
Knowing what he was going through,
Yeah.
it adds like a whole new layer.
It's like you see Chandler in a new light,
I mean,
knowing what Perry went through.
and you understand his quirks
Yeah.
and his humor
Right.
maybe a little more deeply.
So for all you Friends fans out there, would reading this review or even Perry's book
Yeah,
change how you see the show?
that's a good question.
Would it make you appreciate Chandler more?
I think it's up to each person, really.
Yeah.
But knowing his story definitely adds like a new dimension
Right.
to the character and to the show.
It's like even in sitcoms, there's these deep stories
Oh yeah,
being told.
they're everywhere.
It's a good reminder
You know,
that laughter and pain
they can coexist.
can exist together.
And sometimes the funniest people are the ones hurting the most. It's like a reminder that laughter and pain can coexist.
Heck yeah.
And sometimes the funniest people are the ones hurting the most.
It's a powerful insight.
It is.
And it reminds us to be compassionate,
Yeah.
to look beyond the surface and to remember that everyone has a story.
Everyone's got a story.
Well, that was quite a journey,
It was.
a deep dive into not just Matthew Perry's life, but the nature of celebrity, the impact of fame, all of that.
Yeah.
Huge thanks to this reviewer for giving us such a unique perspective.
Absolutely. It was really fascinating.
It really was.
And it leaves us with a lot to think about, like
Yeah.
the power of vulnerability,
Right.
the complexities of addiction and recovery,
Right.
and the importance of empathy, you know, understanding.
And sometimes those stories, as difficult as they can be,
Yeah.
help us understand ourselves and each other a little bit better.
I think so.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, this was a good one.
We'll see you next time for another one.